prescribe a set of protocols for women's behaviors. And if a wife did not perform this kind of appropriate act, the husband was considered as authorized to do the beating. Although officially, none of the Confucian writing really encouraged this kind of behavior.
And is there a difference between the cities and the countryside?
Yes, there is, because in the cities, in the last 3 decades, with the implementation of one-child policy, the girls are actually quite domineering in the sense because they are a single child in the family, and a lot of them will try to demand a more equal relationship with their husband. In the countryside, one-child policy was not strictly implemented. Therefore, from very early on in their childhood, they probably internalize this self-sacrifice spirit, like sacrifice for the family, sacrifice for their brothers. So in a relation, I think they tend to be more likely to be silent when this kind of case occurred.
Now, what is likely to change if this law is passed, do you think?
I think we'll set a very important milestone in battling domestic violence in China. At least this kind of raise the public awareness. It's not a private issue anymore. It's a public issue, and people should report it. But I say it's only a small step because it requires a lot of other issues, like to make sure the police force really implement this law in reality. And secondly, there are other economic reasons, because the gender discrimination in the labor market means that men earn more than women. So even in the case when domestic violence takes place, some wife might still stay in the family because the economic reason.
Jill Leo, Deputy Director of the China Institute of the School of Oriental and African Studies in London, on the plans for the law in China discrimination. Two British pilots of the UK are all aspiring to attend a training camp for militant fighters in Syria. We're describing this as a landmark case. It's not just young men who are leaving Europe to join the fight. Islam and jihadi fighter in Syria in the Netherlands charged with threatening state security. The judge has ordered her release, but she's still under investigation. Now, Aisha's mother brought her back to the Netherlands last week after she herself travelled to the Turkish-Syria border. Correspondent Anna Holligan reports from Maastricht.
She was the piano-playing, blonde-haired, blue-eyed Dutch girl. He is the Kalashnikov-toting poster boy for the foreign jihadi movement. On Dutch TV earlier this year, Yilmaz is using skills acquired during his time serving with the Dutch Armed Forces to train foreign fighters. If you listen carefully, you can hear an English accent here.
To the left and the right, relax. Most of the people here, I think maybe over 90% of the people here, have never ever even fired a bullet in their lives, let alone participate in an actual battlefield whatsoever. It's a beautiful moment.
According to Aisha's mother Monique, her daughter saw this film and began idolizing Yilmaz as a type of Robin Hood figure. Speaking to me via an instant messenger app, the Dutch jihadi confirms they were married, but denies luring Aisha into Syria. And it's this question of motivation that lies at the heart of the prosecution's case. Was Aisha simply a naive, love-struck young girl who went to marry a man that she met online? Or did she catch a train to Syria with a desire to fight alongside the Islamic State?
I think we're slowly but surely finding out that this phenomenon is far greater than we initially thought it might be.
19-year-old Aisha's case highlights the broader phenomenon of teenage girls from Europe traveling to join the expat jihadi community in Iraq and Syria. Mark Singleton is the director of the International Centre for Counter-Terrorism in The Hague.
What has taken practically everyone by surprise is the scale and the scope at which this is now happening. We have, from Europe alone, more than 3,000. What we know about the girls that have gone, obviously they play different roles once they're in society. There are very few women involved in frontline combat. They are more involved in, let's say, supporting and helping the caliphate as they see it.
Aisha's family don't want to talk anymore. Her mum is afraid of jeopardising her daughter's chances of ever being released. And her sister has criticised the media for taking photos from her Facebook page. We're just driving up now to her father's home. This neighbourhood in Maastricht is called Witte Vrouwenveld, White Woman Field. We knock, but there's no answer. There's a note attached to the door. It says, "We're not here right now. We'll talk when the time is right." A few hundred metres down the road, we meet some teenagers who say they knew Aisha. They tell us they were shocked by her conversion to Islam. She used to love going out drinking and doing everything that a good Muslim girl would not. As we get back into the car, I check her father's Facebook page for updates. A month ago, he posted an old picture of a sweet, smiling girl with the message, "Hip hip hooray, my girl is 19. Today, Aisha is in solitary confinement. The prosecutors believe this Dutch teenager could provide valuable insights into life inside the Islamic State.
Anna Holligan reporting there from Maastricht. A reminder that if you missed the live broadcast of the programme, you can subscribe to our podcast. Just type BBC News App podcast into the search engine and you can find it updated twice a week. Stay with us on this edition though. You're listening to News Hour from the BBC World Service.
Distribution for BBC World Service News Hour from the U.S. is made possible by American Public Media, producer and distributor of award-winning public radio content. APM, American Public Media, with support from Kronos, offering cloud-based workforce management solutions designed to help organizations maximize one of their biggest investments, their workforce. More at Kronos.com. Kronos, workforce innovation that works.
Support comes from MB2 Raceway, an indoor go-karting facility located in Grimes. MB2 Raceway specializes in corporate events, birthday parties, and arrive and drive racing. More at mb2raceway.com.
I'm Mark Simmons. Join me in IPR's Cedar Falls studios on December 4th for a live set from Unknown Component. Based in central Iowa, Unknown Component is the project of multi-instrumentalist Keith Lynch. Hear songs from the brand new album, Arbitrary Ambiguity, at this free show on the 3rd floor of the CAC building on the UNI campus, beginning around 7:15 p.m. on Thursday, December 4th. Unknown Component, live on Studio One.
Public radio listeners prefer to do business with companies and organizations like Leedsfield Co-op that support the radio they love. Show your support for Iowa Public Radio by becoming a corporate sponsor. Find out more at iowapublicradio.org/sponsors.
BBC News with Marion Marshall. In what the police have described as a landmark case, two brothers have become the first Britons to be sent to prison for conspiring to attend a training camp for militant fighters in Syria. One man was jailed for 4.5 years, the other for 3 years. The two men were arrested last year on their return to Britain with trophy bullets and pictures of their training among their possessions. The British government's independent reviewer of terrorism laws has said proposed legislation